What's up, everybody? It's been an awesome 24 hours for me. My first signature plugin with ML Sound Lab came out yesterday, and I'm super, super excited. A lot of you guys have checked it out already. Got some really great feedback. And for you who haven't tried it out, please do go to mlsoundlab.com, and there's a free trial. You can check it out. But I've been getting some requests to do a quick video that showcases some of the sounds and talk just a little bit about the amp that we modeled and kind of why I like it so much. And yeah, so here we go. I apologize for the sound quality of the voiceover. I'm actually in a kind of a makeshift setup here, not my usual studio, as you can see, but hopefully this will suffice. And there she is. Actually, it's ironic that I'm doing this in a bedroom because that's kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to start doing amp simulators, plugins of basically my favorite and most used amps. Is so that way I could have this and use it no matter where I am and no matter who I'm working with, and somebody that I'm working with remotely can have it on their system and record parts and send them to me, and it's going to be the sound that we could get if we were in my studio with a rack full of big, heavy, loud, expensive tube amps. So this is based off of a monster 4-channel tube amp that I first discovered when I went to LA to work at the chop shop. Scott Humphrey had one. Him and his engineer, Frank Reiner, I think they'd been using it for a while, but I had heard of them, but it was the first time I'd seen one in person and obviously used it, and it kind of had a reputation as being this kind of like mystical amp that's just like, just better than anything else out there. As soon as I plugged it in, it's the first time we used it, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So it was pretty amazing, and it's kind of been my go-to amp for if I can only have one amp just to do everything with. This is kind of it. So that's why this is the first one we did. All right, so you got 4 channels. You've actually kind of got 6 channels because the bright switch on channel 1 and channel 2 changes things quite a bit. It just doesn't make it brighter. Like, it actually changes the EQ and the overall response of it quite a bit. So it's not a true 6-channel amp, but you can kind of get 6 very different channels, sounds in it, so which is pretty cool. Channel 1 and channel 2 are kind of overlooked. I mean, channel 1, a lot of people use channel 1 for like super clean stuff, but channel 2 is really overlooked. And there have been a lot of times on albums where you need like just, an arpeggiated part that's kind of like half clean, half dirty. And everybody's like, oh, we got to go set up a matchless or a Fender or something. And we might go do that. And then I'll also as an option, I'll turn on channel 2, and people are like, what's that? That's the diesel. So it's not just a metal amp, with tons of gain. I mean, it does have that, but all right. Really quickly, I'll give you a quick tour and then I'll shut up so you guys can hear this thing. You got a pedal board here, and if you've got a bunch of stuff on, you don't want to have to go up there and turn it all on and off. You got to switch there, a little kind of like master effects bypass. And here's something really special that Miko from ML Sound Lab developed. It's this 3D cab section, and you can select speakers down here. We've got some that I included, and then some from ML's IR packs that are awesome. You've got different microphones here. You've got 2 speakers, obviously, and you can mix between them. But here's the really cool thing. You can just click and drag on these, and if you pull out, you can pull it out like that. You can push it in, use your scroll wheel, go on axis, off axis, really move it around. And the interesting thing, just to know while you're playing with this, is the visual representation of where the mics are it's a representation. It's not exact. So as most of you know, when you mic up a cabinet, if you move a microphone like half an inch, the sound can be very drastic. And so if we were, we didn't want the sound change to be super drastic when you're just moving the mouse a little bit. So we made the range of the sound a little bit larger, so that way, or sorry, the range of the graphic a little bit larger. So when you're out here with with a mic, very rarely am I ever using a mic out that far. But when it comes to this and how this works, don't be afraid to put it out there, because that actually might not necessarily be the super accurate visual representation, but it makes it a lot easier to use. So just trust me with that, because we had it initially, you have it to where you're just touching it and it's so finicky and it's hard to use. So we made this even easier to use than miking up a real cabinet. So one other quick thing, and this goes for pretty much all amp plugins and amp simulators, amp modelers, but your input level. Right now I'm just plugged straight into my Avid Matrix Studio, the instrument input. The input of your DI is important. So if it's too hot, you're going to be potentially clipping and driving the front end of the amp simulator plugs. If you're too low, you're not going to get the gain response and the gain profile of the amp that we modeled. So use this peak light here to determine like what your levels should be. You should just be that should be going off just a little bit, not all the time, but just a little bit. And then you can also use the input and the output to kind of tailor how you want. So as long as you're not peaking it and it's crapping out like any plugin, you're good. But yeah, don't be afraid to use your input and output knobs here as well. All right, I'll shut up so you guys can hear this thing. I'll just go through some of the presets that I made. And I think Andrew Cruz, who is a huge integral part of getting this plugin made, he did some presets here as well. I think he's going to do a video of his presets, so I'll let him jump into that. All right, here we go. Apologize for my shitty playing. I'm not the greatest guitar player, but I like playing through this thing. All right. Let's start with channel 3. It's kind of like what this amp's, I don't want to say known for, but I'd probably say that's where it gets the most use. Nice rhythm sound there. So for instance, this sound, if I wanted to beef this up, just turn up the depth. Let's go to another one. So it's cool because like that sounds dirty, but you've got a lot of articulation. That's one of the great things about the sonic profile of this amp is you don't need a ton of gain for it to sound heavy. And that being said, if you want a ton of gain, you've got it. So like that's not even at noon. Let's crank that up a little bit. It's just a ton of harmonics. It's awesome. Love it. Let's do another one here. much different cab than the last few. Oh, just different mic. Again, barely any gain. Jesus, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's check out channel 4. So channel 4 is, I mean, it's got more gain, but it's a little bit of a different overall kind of just spectrum. It's kind of voiced differently. Again, not a lot of gain going on here, but it sounds heavy, which is cool. That's how you keep the articulation nice. Cool. So it is noisy once you get a lot of gain. That's when you can go turn that on. Okay, let's check out some other presets here. Nice. Let's go more. I just love all the sounds. It inspires you to just play different riffs and different styles of music just from the sound. Love it. Killer. lots of flexibility here as well, right? Pull that back. Very cool. All right, let's go to channel 2. Like I said, very overlooked. It's great, kind of half dirty. That's just all straight up. Let's check this out. Pedal board. So here's one of my favorite sounds with channel 2, and a lot of people just don't even bother trying this with channel 2. They'll go to channel 3 right away if they want more gain. Butchering AC/DC riffs left, right, and center. That's what I do. So you do get a little bit of a volume drop as you kind of go down the channel, so don't be afraid to use the output knob to turn that up a little. It's got a nice bark to it. If you really want to get crazy, kick this guy on. Just drive a little more. Like, that's probably the least used sound on this entire amp, and I know people who own like 3 amps just because of that sound. So kill it. This is also channel 2. Hear how heavy this is. Awesome. And then you can also really clean it up if you want as well. So, all right, now we're going to check out channel 1. So channel 1 can get super clean. You can drive it a little bit. It's a really versatile, clean channel. I don't want to say channel 1 nobody uses on this amp. I know a lot of people who do, but I also know a lot of people who have access to a lot of amps who just never go to this for the clean sound, and it's actually really good. That's just straight up. Let's check out a preset. You hear a little bit of clipping in there, and if that happens, just bring the gain down, turn the output up. Got some effects on there as well. Whew, sorry about that. I had a little bit of a sneeze attack. I'm back. Lots of great sounds in this thing. Whatever pickup you're using makes a big difference. So the other nice thing about this amp, it does respond to different guitars. So I've got kind of a my PRS McCarty with it. These are actually very low output pickups. When you put something with high output in here, it does sound quite a bit different. So it's not just, there are some amp sims where no matter what comes into it, it just sounds the same. Like for instance, I've got a coil split, and when you put it on, so it actually has a different sound, which is nice because that's what you want, different guitars for different flavors. So all right, well, there it is. That's the CB4. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think about it. Definitely go try it out. There's a free trial. You can check it out. If you like it, awesome. If you don't tell me about it, please. I'm fragile. So anyways, thanks so much for everybody's interest and everybody's feedback so far. It's been awesome. And let's make some awesome music, guys. Let's get some guitars back in the world. We need more guitars in the world. There you have it. Take care.